Hello, Senator Lindsey here. Yesterday, the President of Mexico asked me 5 questions. Mr. President, I'm going to give you the answer here just in a second. But the first thing I want to do is make a statement. I wish to work with you and your government to deal with the Mexican cartels that exist in your country that are producing fentanyl at an alarming rate, killing thousands of Americans, 70,000 last year from fentanyl poisoning alone. The problem I have with you, be honest with you, Mr. President, is that you deny there are areas of your country controlled by drug cartels. You are in denial. The map you see behind me, the red areas, are a State Department map telling Americans don't go to these areas because they're too dangerous, controlled by drug cartels. The Secretary of State, the Secretary of Department of Homeland Security all agree with me that drug cartels operate in your country freely and openly. I'd like to work with you to stop that practice. To the questions.
Is fentanyl consumed in the United States, yes or no?
Mr. President, fentanyl is consumed in the United States. 11,000 pounds of fentanyl was seized at the southern border this year, fiscal year. Last year's 14,000 pounds. 11,000 pounds, Mr. President, is enough to kill 2.5 billion people. Yes, it's consumed in the United States. Here's the problem. We need to work on that. But 2 young people from a single family bought 2 Percocet tablets laced with fentanyl. They both died. An 18-month-old child died from exposure at an Airbnb from residual fentanyl. This is a very dangerous drug being put in other drugs, and Americans are buying it not knowing it. It's produced in your country, and drug cartels are operating openly in your country, poisoning Americans. We need to work together to stop it.
Who deals fentanyl in the United States? Or better yet, are there drug lords and cartels that deal fentanyl in the United States?
Mr. President, Mexican drug cartels are operating in our major cities, distributing fentanyl, and we're going after them. But I want to do more than go after fentanyl dealers in America. I want to educate the public about the danger of drug usage in America. You're right to insist we do that. But I want to work with you to shut down these labs. And the first problem we got to come to grips with is that the labs operate openly in Mexico, and you're doing nothing about it. They get the precursor drugs from China, and if you don't change your policies, we're going to have to take matters in our own hands. I want to work with you like we did with the country of Colombia dealing with their cocaine problem. I want to work with you to shut these labs down, but you're not helping. You're in denial.
Are the people that deal fentanyl in the United States Mexican or American?
Mr. President, the fentanyl distribution network in the United States involves Mexican drug cartels and others. The product is primarily coming from your country, being produced in areas where you have no authority or control. And if you don't change this policy, you're going to require America to do things that I don't want to do, but we must do.
Can you buy a machine gun or high-powered weapon in a supermarket in the United States? Yes or no?
Mr. President, you can't buy a weapon commercially unless the person has a firearms license. So that's the key.
What programs do you have to support young people with addiction issues? What are you doing to help them?
We're spending millions of dollars trying to educate people about the dangers of drugs, particularly fentanyl. People are buying amphetamines to study for a test. They find out it's laced with fentanyl too late and they're dead. It's the leading cause of death, fentanyl poisoning, from 18 to 45-year-olds in America. Last year, 70,000 Americans died from fentanyl overdoses. A lot of times people have no idea they're taking fentanyl. 11,000 pounds was seized this year alone coming in from your country. Last year, there's 14,000 pounds. It's made in your country with a connection to China, and you're not doing much about it. Final thought, Mr. President. Let's work together. If you choose not to work with me, I'm going to do everything in my power to use the laws of the United States to destroy these drug cartels, and whatever is necessary to protect Americans from dying by the tens of thousands, I will do.